Hey, it's studio time. The Locals Lounge at Radio 94.9. Send your band submissions to Nate at radio949colorado.com.
All right, welcome back to Studio 94.9. It's the Locals Lounge here at Radio 94.9. I'm Nate Wild, and I got our guests joining me for the week. It's Caleb, Justin, and Mike from Chess at Breakfast. Welcome, dudes.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Thanks
for having us.
It's nice to be welcomed.
You're very welcomed. I'm glad you guys could make it in. So let's go ahead and start off. Just introduce me and the listeners to Chess at Breakfast for those who aren't familiar. You know, give me a little bio of the band.
Ooh. Well, we started rolling just over a year ago. It started as Caleb and I, writing songs, and then we needed a drummer, so we got Mike here. And it sort of evolved from what we called lounge rock. To
whatever that may mean.
Yeah. It was kind of soft. It was kind of mellow. And then the introduction of Mike kind of brought it to what you hear now, which is almost borderlining metal sometimes in some of our songs and has a harder sound and more of a psyche sound. So.
Yeah. I definitely see the psychedelic kind of, aspect to it. Tell me how you kind of got that sound, landed on that. I guess from the addition of Mike, right?
Well, okay, I guess so.
We got heavier with Mike.
So
definitely.
Yeah, like these guys had these songs, and you guys had 5 demos recorded,
Something like that.
and so, I told them, I was like, I want to produce you guys, and then they had another drummer at the time, but he was too busy, so ended up being the drummer, and then just we kind of like we've been wrestling with the songs for probably 14 months now. We actually threw together our first show within 10 days. We practiced for 10 days, and then our first show, and I still think it's one of our best shows.
Yeah.
Huh, really?
But yeah, I mean, I think we all just kind of like wrestle with the songs and basically try to push them as far as they can go until we're really happy with them. And that's kind of like a philosophy of the band, I think, that's developed over our tenure. But we can talk more about that later when we're talking about the new stuff we've been working on lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Okay, so you got some evolution going on in the last 14 months.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right on. Well, let's introduce the people to some Chess at Breakfast. The first tune's called Whether or Not. Tell me about this song.
Caleb, will let you answer that.
Yeah. It's I think it's a little more lighthearted than most of our songs. Maybe a lot of lighthearted. It's I think really one of the only songs that I think we've written that's uplifting, that has kind of very optimistic lyrics and riffs, I suppose.
But it's also the end of the song hits you right in the face.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So
definitely.
It's like it's kind of a juxtaposition with like the music itself, and then the lyrics are
basically is this Chess at Breakfast?
Yeah.
And then at the end, this is Chess at Breakfast. Yeah.
I think that musically it's probably our most accessible song.
Okay, all right.
I think.
This is your radio song.
Yeah, totally. Like you can't listen to this song and not be like, all right, I can dig that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, what are the lyrics about?
Really, they were written for our friend Summer, who was kind of just going through some rough patches, and we just wanted to write a song and let her know that she's cared about. Shout out to Summer.
That is so sweet. Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, we actually gave it to her. What was that? Christmas? We gave it to her as
Yeah.
a Christmas present.
It was a
Really?
little Christmas present.
Oh, you
so.
guys are so
She's-
nice.
She's
Sweethearts.
basically she was the first ever, I guess, like person to support this project
Yeah.
too. So
Okay.
she's very
still a
dear to
huge
our
supporter
hearts.
to this day.
Yeah.
Probably our number one fan, I'd say.
Very cool. Summer, this is your song. It's Chess at Breakfast, Studio 94.9. This is called Whether or Not.
When that summer But you don't gotta pick up the stones and the sticks. Shake it off, start breathing. Break it down completely. Lift it up, keep breathing. Take it in, crank it out. And if June is coming past, then you're still avoiding the day. We will come and wrap you right. Not one soul is to say. Don't be surprised if you are getting a rise on everything ever, but you get bona fixed. But you don't gotta pick up the stones and the sticks. Shake it off, start breathing. Break it down completely. Lift it up, keep breathing. Take it in, crank it out.
That was Whether or Not from Chess at Breakfast joining me in the studio today at Studio 94.9. The Locals Lounge here at Radio 94.9. We got Caleb, Justin, and Mike in here. Now, I'm gonna get to know each of you guys a little better here, and the listeners too. We'll start with Caleb. Caleb, tell me your story about how you came up as a musician, guitar player, singer, songwriter, all of that. Just what's your background?
Sure. So I guess I started playing music when my mom forced me to be in a band in middle school.
Classic story.
Yeah,
story,
right. Yeah. I played saxophone for about 8 years.
I hated the saxophone. I did the same thing.
Did you?
Sorry.
I loved it for a really long time, but then I just kind of I was studying it in college, and it was just getting to the point for me. I wasn't having as much fun as I wanted to be having with music. It was more like, I was trying to study a science, really, and
right.
I just was not feeling that.
You're at UNC.
I was at UNC there, and then went to CSU here. Well, not here. We're in Loveland, but, and, yeah, so I started dabbling in just songwriting kind of, in the last couple of years that I was doing saxophone, and kind of just wanted to transition to focus more on that because that seemed more exciting for me. I think guitar is a little more versatile.
Yeah.
And also, you can sing and play an instrument at the same time. So, and yeah, I just always have been. I've just loved the songwriting culture, really, and just what, I guess it's my kind of art, really.
So how long have you been playing guitar then?
Not terribly long, I guess about 6 years.
Okay, huh, cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of your influences as a guitar player.
Oh, as a guitar player, definitely David Gilmour. I mean,
Yeah,
I
okay.
sound nothing like him, but
I don't know, man. I can kind of see the Gilmore influence.
oh
Totally,
yeah? All right. Well, I'll take your word for it, I guess. But yeah, definitely David Gilmour. I think Jack White, because I definitely don't sound like him, but I'm kind of messy. I'm kind of like a sloppy guitar player, like he is.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of what I think he's probably what inspired me to pick up a guitar or a guitar. Yeah,
A sitar.
a sitar. But yeah,
Huh.
I think those two probably, I guess.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Justin, what about you, man?
So like Caleb, I started my musical journey in middle school band. I started on clarinet back in those days. And then from there was a short step to...
He's stealing my story.
I am, yeah. It was a short step to jazz band after that, which is where I started playing bass. And I started taking bass lessons. And I kept taking bass lessons and kept doing jazz band all throughout middle school and high school. And I also still played woodwinds and then later French horn. But that was where I got my start, and then I just loved it. Started jamming with more and more people who played more and more different kinds of music.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned on jazz, and then joined a metal band.
Okay, yeah,
And then, you know, as everyone does. Shout out to Torment.
Torment.
And yeah, I kept playing and kept expanding, and I feel like I'm pretty versatile as a player these days, and I have basically just jamming with people to thank for that.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe you were in Torment. That's awesome.
yeah, right.
You were in Torment?
What?
No big deal.
Warped Tour? Warped Tour, man?
Better, the Huron Middle School talent show.
Oh man, I remember you guys. So your bass, you got a fretless bass, and it's a custom neck, right?
Yes.
And the first thing that popped to my brain was Jaco Pastorius.
Yeah.
Tell me about the bass.
So the bass started its life as a Fender Jazz bass, like Jaco played, and I thought about selling it because I wasn't really playing it very often, and then I was like, I've always wanted a fretless bass, so at first I wanted to pop the frets off like Jaco did.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's a lot of work, and I didn't want to screw it up, so I ended up having the neck custom made. So it's Wingy. The actual neck is Wingy, and then the fingerboard is black ebony. So two very hard, very heavy woods.
Huh.
And it gives it like this smooth, buttery feeling when you play it, and it just sounds like no bass I've ever played. So
Can I
love
play it?
Yeah, definitely. His name's Dan Brown.
The bass's name is Dan Brown.
Yes.
One of my strings are on that bass, by the way, for the record, everybody.
Yeah.
So I'll just play the A string. Cool, man. Good stories. I like this. Mike, what about you? Tell me about you, man.
So my main instrument's the drums, as you can tell. My mom got me my first drum set for Christmas when I was 8.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've been playing drums for about 16 years. And then, I took lessons for a couple of years and then stopped playing for a few years, focused on sports and just kind of other things, kind of lost interest. And then towards the end of middle school, I picked it back up again. I realized wait, this is an awesome thing, I want to keep doing this. So, I kept playing drums and, I kind of played semi-often throughout high school. And then once college came around, I really started jamming with people. After my freshman year, I moved in with 2 of my buddies, Tyler and Cooper, and we set up the basement. Basically, half of the basement was dedicated to jam space.
Nice.
So, that kind of turned into, making records down there, and I made records in high school too. But the records really kind of took on a new life, became much more professional over the years when I was, playing in college with people. And then, I graduated college about a year ago, and that's right about the same time that I started, messing with sounds with these guys, and basically that's where we're at. So and,
right.
I really enjoy playing with these guys. I like that it's a 3-piece because we can we all have room to breathe too.
Totally.
Which is like a huge thing for me. And then there's also that room to breathe also leaves a lot of room to experiment, and that is my number one goal with music.
Nice.
And pretty much any art that I do is just to be as experimental, as original, as different as possible, fusing all kinds of different things. So, but yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it's fun. That's always fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me, when you were coming up on the drums, who did you kind of look up to?
I would say originally I looked up to Keith Moon a lot.
Okay, yeah.
Definitely John Bonham. As soon as I knew about Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, yeah.
John Bonham is the only god that that died.
Float around.
But I mean those two for sure, and then
Okay.
kind of my later more developed influences are Danny Carey from Tool.
Oh, yeah, totally.
He's just a freaking machine.
He's not a human.
Yeah, he really.
He's not.
I would be a little bit skeptical meeting him, being like, "So you're a person named Danny Carey?" But and then Matt Garska from Animals as Leaders. I think
yeah.
he's the best drummer in the entire world. And then Zach Hale from Death Grips and Steve Judd from Carnival. So, but those are the big ones. So
Cool. Very
Yeah.
interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Do you listen to prog metal by any chance?
No, I don't. It's actually I just study it. I don't listen to it.
Right on. Let's play another tune for the people here. It's called Pink in the Sky. Pink in the Sky, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's this song about?
This song is kind of a mysterious. It's actually been kind of a little game that I've been.
Caleb told me
playing.
a while ago that I have to guess what the song is about.
Oh, really?
And I
yeah,
still
Justin
haven't.
doesn't really.
Yeah,
Justin
so
doesn't really know,
I
and
don't
he has
really
yet to
know.
guess. So, I mean, there's so
I
much.
guess you don't have to tell me.
Yeah, it's I mean,
keep it a secret.
it's about a person for sure that has floated around. Not really so much these days, but yeah, it's angsty and it's kind of mean. Honestly, I feel bad about some of the.
I have a
the
pretty
lyrics,
good
but
idea of what and whom it's about.
I think
won't
he might.
say any names.
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's yeah.
But also, I mean, the song itself is, the lyrics are kind of ambiguous, as
Yeah, a little
most of
bit.
your lyrics are. But I mean, the song itself is kind of mean. It's gritty.
Yeah,
you know?
it's mean. Yeah.
probably the grittiest song on our EP.
Yeah, I would say so.
But
yeah.
yeah.
All right. I'm going to listen to the lyrics. I'm going to try to figure it out.
All right.
We'll revisit this someday. All right, it's Chess at Breakfast, Studio 94.9. This is called Pink in the Sky. All right, that was Pink in the Sky from Chess at Breakfast. It's a mysterious song. It's Studio 94.9, Locals Lounge at Radio 94.9. I'm Nate Wild. And tell me what Chess at Breakfast means. Where'd you get the name?
Well, basically, all of the other band names were taken. So we just,
All of the other band names
all of the
were
other
taken.
band names
Every
were taken.
single one.
So we just kind of rolled with this one.
Okay, well, where'd you get it from?
Breakfast.
Does it
Breakfast.
is there
Breakfast.
literally no story behind this name?
There's a story.
Caleb doesn't like to talk about the story.
It's just so
thinks it's
anticlimactic.
anticlimactic. and
Really, it's-
So him and the aforementioned Summer were having breakfast at a place called Lucille's in Fort Collins, which is incredible. You probably know. And
Yes.
Lucille's.com.
Lucille's.com.
They have all those things on the tables, you know. Well, if you've been to Lucille's, you know, I guess. And they started playing chess with them at breakfast, chess at breakfast. Are you happy I told the story?
Yeah.
That's the story.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
have a
Shout
new
out to
story.
Summer.
Caleb explicitly said not to tell that story.
Oh, really?
So that's why we were sort of...
It's boring.
It really is boring. It really is. But
We'll come up. We'll go back to the drawing board. We'll come up with something better.
I've recently
good
come
name.
up with a new. I've recently come up with a new story. It's like a retrospective story. It's not even really a story, I guess, but it's like we like to start our days with a little competition, but it's a very, very calm, cool, collected competition. And that's just the kind of guys we are.
Yeah, exactly.
We like to eat our breakfast, like most important meal of the day.
we like to play our chess.
Yeah,
Well,
we like
that,
to
and
play
I
our
think
chess.
I think another thing I think we all have actually mentioned before is, I mean, it does in a way kind of fit us because we go from very, very soft to extremely loud at times, and I mean it's kind of weird to play a game of war basically at one of the most peaceful, meals of the day, the most peaceful meal of the day,
Usually,
breakfast,
yeah.
Yeah, unless
You-
something goes terribly wrong.
Yeah.
right, like playing chess. 'Cause that's
Exactly.
because then things just go south.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, now everybody knows your story that you didn't want everybody to know. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's all right. That's okay. They can know. It's fine.
Well, they do. Shout out to Summer.
She's
Cool.
loving this right now.
I'll bet. We'll do one more tune of the get together here. It's called Vent Number 5. Tell me about this song.
So this one I actually kind of wrote. Basically, it's for my cousin who passed away a few years ago. He was super obsessed with Dr. Seuss, and so there are a lot of kind of Dr. Seuss-esque lyrics just kind of floating about, and it's basically it's based on a book called "I Had Trouble in Getting to Salisaloo," and that's I guess the best way to describe it. I don't know. It's one of those things like we were talking about earlier. It starts super soft and then it gets really, really gritty.
I think musically, this one reminds me of Queens of the Stone Age,
Okay.
for sure, which I love. The band and the fact that it reminds me of them. I think it gets pretty heavy. It's probably, it's one of our more heavier songs to date.
Definitely.
I was going to say the most, but we have some new ones that are getting pretty heavy. But it really moves and like drives, and I'm just kind of rambling now, but I really dig it. So.
Yeah, it's a short one too. It's like it gets the point across in a short time. It's a very concise song, but there's also a lot packed in there.
Okay.
So I think the song just it jumps around, but all at the right times. It gives each idea its proper fix and then moves on.
All right.
But yeah, so
Okay, cool. What's the title come from?
It comes from I Had Trouble in Getting to Salisaloo.
It's in that book.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, basically the main character escapes a horde of Dr. Seuss characters by crawling through a vent called Vent Number 5.
Vent Number 5. Okay, I'm not familiar with that book, but
Yeah.
got
You should
it.
read it. It's good.
Maybe someday if I get time. It's kind of long books.
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss. He's a novelist.
Yeah, he's something else, man. All right. Well, cool, guys. Chess at Breakfast, once again, joining me at Studio 94.9. This is called Vent Number 5.
Dark enough here. The dust fires and tar for troubles. But the rumor on earth is all a saloon has built. Doctor, there are suns in my vision and a sudden collision enters the crude Republicans. When I'm outnumbered, I never shoot, but I escape through the number 5. Yeah, I escape through the number 5. Nowhere in particular. That's where you'll find a bloodiness and molecular DNA don't lie. But how did I get here? Was it thanks to the Quilligan Quill? Was it thanks to Genghis Khan Schmitz? I like to think it's because of my wits. When you heard how we rolled, I can only guess your reaction when you arrived in the morning, underdressed, collecting debts.
All right, Chess at Breakfast, everybody. It's Studio 94.9, the Locals Lounge at Radio 94.9. That last tune is called Vent Number 5, Dr. Seuss. Shout out. So before we wrap it up, tell me what you guys got coming up. What's next for Chess at Breakfast?
Well, in about a month, early November, we're gonna go into
1 month
the
to the
studio.
day, really.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna go into the studio and record all of the drums, bass, and guitar for our first full album,
Oh, cool.
which hopefully will get released, in the first half of next year. We're hoping for spring,
Yeah.
but
Optimistically.
yeah, it's gonna have probably 11 tracks, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Awesome.
I went through it. We actually finished writing the last song the other night, and we recorded like a
Little demo.
a crappy demo of it, but and I finally had the chance to go through the whole song order in my head, and we're gonna have some bridges between song cycles.
A lot of
whatnot.
really cool transitions, which
Yeah.
I think I'm most excited about.
That's
That's
what I'm
one
most
of my
excited about,
favorite
too.
things in listening to an album.
The EP
really.
to me kind of feels like it's just song end, and then repeat, which is fine. But it really excites me that we're doing some more interesting things with these songs.
Yeah,
But
so-
with Weather and Andesite, though,
Yeah,
that's
that was pretty
So
good,
the
but-
last two tracks on our EP, they go together
Flawlessly.
Yeah, they go together, and that's kind of like a preview of what the future of the band, recordings wise, is. I think.
We're also taking on a very dark side with this next album for at
Yeah,
least
it's
some
very,
of the
very
songs.
dark.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess you'll just have to wait and see for those, but we're pretty excited.
First half of 2018, everybody. Chess at Breakfast. So you guys are going from like Tool opiate era to Tool enema era.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep, it's gonna be a breakthrough.
Skipping Undertow altogether. But
Yep. Thank God.
Nice. Well, right on, guys. Appreciate you coming in. Once again, it's Chess at Breakfast joining me today. Just can't thank you enough for coming in, sharing your music, sharing your stories with the people.
Yeah,
Thank you, Nate.
Yep. Thanks a
Appreciate
lot.
it.